Hey everybody, Z Garcia here, and today I'm taking a look at the latest version, the newest printing of Neuroshima Hex, published by Portal Games. Neuroshima Hex has come out a whole bunch of times. This is becoming the iPad of the Apple world, in which they've just stopped numbering them. What's the new iPad number? It's just called the new iPad. So I'm not sure how many times this has been refreshed and changed and updated, but this is the new edition. It comes with the 4 original factions that have come in it for a long time. It also has one main new thing it introduces, and that is a booklet of battle maps, or the battle atlas here as it says, which is going to give you basically scenarios you can play. You can still play the same old way you always played, but you can now jump into specific scenarios not connected to one another, standalones, and try the game out with some new rules and a new objective basically overlaid on top of that. If you've never heard of Neuroshima Hex, you're in the right place. Don't go anywhere. This is a great box for a newly interested player to check this game out. Let me show you a little bit of how this game works and a little bit about that battle atlas and what's in there. In the basic game of Neuroshima Hex, each player is going to be playing on this board. They're each going to have an army, they're going to have a player aid, and they are trying to take down their opponent's HQ from 20 all the way down to 0. And on each player's turn, they will draw 3 tiles. They are going to discard one of those 3 tiles, and they are going to utilize or hold back the other 2, trying to ultimately punch the other guys in their way, clear some paths, what have you. Once a battle is triggered, either because the board is full or somebody triggers one of these combat tiles, then everyone is going to fire in initiative order, with the higher numbers, the number 3s here being the highest one anywhere on the board, firing first, either a melee or a ranged combat that looks like that, putting hits on things, and then clearing those after everything has attacked. Most things die from 1 hit, but if they have shields, like these shields here or that one there, they take extra hits. Once all the speed 3 guys have attacked, anything that died comes off the board. The speed 2s go. Anything that dies comes off the board. Speed 1, and so on, all the way down to the HQs, which are these 2 here, which give a special benefit to their faction and trigger at speed 0, as you see there. This is going to continue until the game is over, because we've run out of tiles. If that ends that way, then whoever sustained the least amount of damage wins. Otherwise, it'll end during the game when somebody's HQ is finally hit enough that it goes all the way down to 0, and then that player loses. If you are playing with more than 2 players, whoever has the most health then would be the winner at that point. But normally, 2 players is usually the way I play, but this is just one way to play. This is kind of the original way to play Neuroshima Hex, so I'm going to wipe all this away and show you the new main thing that comes in this box. This is it right here, what they're calling the Battle Atlas. This is going to come with scenarios in it. You will no longer need that original board. The boards are going to be printed in here with special abilities, and you would just flip to the page you want to fight in, the scenario you'd like to play, and engage with that scenario. This is not a campaign. You can pick and choose whichever one you want. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that now. Let me scoot these out of the way. We're going to move this over here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So you flip over one of these. This is the first one. It tells you up here the number of players, who the factions are, some of the setup here, the goals of the game, and then what you are trying to do, how the game ends, and some special rules. In this one, we've got the factory over here, and a Moloch, the bad guys, complex over here, and they're trying to ship resources to the factory. And the human resistance is the outpost is trying to stop that from happening. And so the rules basically say you cannot put tiles here. There's going to be a factory turn at the beginning of every round that puts 1 resource there from the top of this player's stack, and they will move along as they go. If these things are ever attacked by the outpost, then they are removed and returned back to this player. But if they make it all the way in here, that's good for the Moloch player. If they get 3 in here, they win. If they don't get 3 by the time the game ends, then the outpost wins. And so it's a scenario you are playing. You have different scenarios in here. They tell you, again, all of that information and then a map you are playing on. And so this is going to change the way you engage with the game. You'll see that this is very different. It'll have a lot more theme, a lot more story. These are individual moments in the story of this world of Neuroshima, this post-apocalyptic setting. And so that is kind of the main new idea featured in the box, though of course you still have original Neuroshima Hex that you can take, 2 to 4 of these factions and just have at it. So there you go. Let's go ahead and go back up top. Neuroshima Hex is a fantastic game. It's been renowned for a long time. It's been in my personal favorite games for a long time. This will not be a bad review. This is going to get a high score from me. They'd have to mess this up pretty badly for me to give this a low score. That doesn't mean it's perfect, though. And it is a box that I think is very much targeting both new players, because this is a new jumping on point, but also it's a great box for people who are already invested in Neuroshima Hex, and I can't think of another way for you to get this. So that's a little bit of a problem. If you just want this, and you already have maybe multiple versions of Neuroshima Hex, then unfortunately I don't think there's a way for you to just get this right now. As of right now, as far as I know, okay? So let me start with the things I find to be somewhat problematic in this game. I already said one, which is that book on its own, as far as I know, isn't really available if you already are invested in the ecosystem and just want what's largely new here. Now, other things, I still think it's a little silly that by now, whatever edition this is, they're still not acknowledging on the box that this is really a 2-player game like 90% of the time. And kind of a 3-player game, and sure, if you want to, it technically plays at 4, okay? Of all the scenarios that come in this booklet, almost every single one of them is for 2 players. There is one scenario, I think it's one scenario, for 3 players. That's it. So this is clearly meant to be a 2-player game. It shines and thrives at 2, and yet from glancing at the outside of the box, the uninitiated would think 2 to 4. And there is no indication that it's a 2 to 4 player game. Okay? And I think by now that should be made clear for a new gamer coming into this game. The components in the game are largely superb, but this is something that they've run into issues before when reprinting Neuroshima Hex, some of the expansions, that all the bits don't quite match. This is a very minor negative for me, okay? I understand that. But the component quality, these tiles have a different finish than even the last 2 expansions to this game. These brand new expansions have a different finish, a different quality of cardboard. I'm guessing they were made in a different place than this stuff. Even this that just came out and I reviewed recently, a 2-player only box, great product here, also doesn't match the look and the production of this new core box. These tiles have a different linen finish versus a matte finish, and these have a different look. These have shiny spots, and they have these square corners. These do not have those shiny spots on the square corners. They're just different a little bit, just enough that if that kind of thing is going to bother you, then it's going to bother you, okay? And it bothers me a little bit, like I said. And then lastly, the scenarios, which I'll get to in 1 second, okay? They don't super work. There's 2 scenarios in there, 2 or 3 out of, a lot of them in the book that just don't work above and beyond the content that comes in this box. They used the named factions. And one of the positives for this game, if you are interested in getting it, is that there is a plethora of content out there. If you end up enjoying this game, getting this core box and thinking, oh, I like this rich, tactical, thematic game, oh boy, you are in for a feast because there's so much out there you could check out. I already showed you this. You could get that, but you don't need to get this. You can just get these, and there's so many. There's a booklet that comes in the box here that shows you all of the different factions available, and there's so many. But they won't work with that battle atlas. They won't work with that except for a couple of scenarios in there that say you can use any two factions. Those will work. Normally, they use named factions. So I guess what I'm saying is I wish that there were more of those scenarios, if you would, that were a little more open to let you play with your toys, okay? Now, switching to the positives, and there's a lot of really big positives here. This is a refined core box that has seen that refinement over many editions, and they've got this down now to it just sings, right? It's so rich, it's so well done. There's so much interest and history here. This has been around for a while. You can kind of tell this is a very well put together product. By now, they've sanded down everything and they've made this a tremendously streamlined experience. Okay, the Book of Scenarios, this Battle Atlas, it is a win. It is a thematic and a tactical slam dunk. It's so good to be able to not just play Neuroshima Hex, where you take your board and your faction, you go at each other, but now you are achieving something specifically. Defend yourself from these invading mutants. Stop the machines from delivering these, things you don't want. I'm not going to spoil too many, but, stuff like that. There's all these, interesting setups for things you're attempting to achieve. I think that's fantastic. They really, they hit a slam dunk here. They hit a home run. Hopefully we see more of that. I would not be surprised if we end up getting more of these scenarios in the future because they are really, really something. The wound and net tokens in this edition of the game are sweet. They are right here. They are these plastic, smoky, translucent plastic tokens. They're wonderful. I want to know where I can buy a bag of these. These are amazing. And then just how rich and tactical the game is, I guess, is the ultimate positive for me. This is very, very fun. It's a good game, especially if you... It used to be, when I played this game, that I would get into the theme and tell myself a story in my head about why the Steel Police was going up against, some other faction, the Beasts, just to pick one. You come up with a cool scenario in your head. Well, now this does some of that for you and gives you rules to go along with that. That's wonderful. So that's the biggest thing. This is a rich, tactical, engaging game that if you like reactionary games, you like that feeling of a knife fight in a phone booth, you love the overcoming of a puzzle that you are trying to solve while your opponent is trying to counter-solve their own puzzle, you're going to enjoy this game. There's a couple of things, like I said, that I wish they would have done, but overall, if you've never played Neuroshima Hex, this is a tremendous jumping on point. If you have played but don't own an edition and would like to, this is a tremendous edition to own. There's nothing I can say that I think should dissuade you from getting it. If you already own Neuroshima Hex and wish you could get the Battle Atlas stuff, I don't think there's a way to do that, unfortunately. And I don't think I would recommend you getting the entire box again, okay? But this is wonderful. This is going to get a 9 out of 10 from me. That is going to be a seal of excellence for Neuroshima Hex. It's always been good. It keeps getting better. This is amazing. You're also getting this, which I really, really like. This is going to say, it says further adventure with Neuroshima Hex, and it shows you all the different armies available to you. It gives you a little write-up. and a little difficulty scaling thing on it. I love this document. I'm so happy it's in there. I like just reading that, honestly. So there you go, folks. That's going to do it for this one. Neuroshima Hex, the new edition. 9 out of 10. Seal of excellence from me here at the Dice Tower. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you seek it out and have a good time with it. My name is Z Garcia. I'm going to see you on the next one.
Hey, thanks for watching another video here on the Dice Tower. We really appreciate you stopping by and checking our things out. Thanks so much for joining us today. And hey, if you really like what we're doing here at the Dice Tower, then there are different ways to support the Dice Tower. One of those ways is through Patreon. We have links in the description to this video, and we have links to lots of other things we do down there, so definitely check it out. But either way, we're glad you watched us. Tell your friends about the Dice Tower. Until next time, though, I'm Tom Vassell, and I hope you enjoyed this video.